Right, so after a couple of false starts, here we are. Um, Hopefully continuing this campaign. When last we left it, you had been at Ban Baranti's manor in the evening, and you'd all consented to escort a Chantry priestess southwards to a small village called Sothmere on the edge of the Korkari Wilds. Because she's getting on a bit in life and wants to make this last pilgrimage before passing on to meet the Maker.
Yep. Hello, everybody listening.
What?
I said hello, everybody listening.
Wow, I've really misheard that.
Yeah. We've for as long as we've been doing this, none of us have ever actually introduced ourselves to the listeners. So I'm Evan, and I play Haldir.
That's okay. When I heard I loved her body listening, I was like, wait, what the fuck did he just say? I knew I'd misheard that, but I didn't know what it was originally.
Chick brown cow.
Right.
No.
So, as you're leaving the Baranti Manor, one of the servants motions to try and get your attention.
Yes.
He says, "Excuse me, did I hear that you're going to be escorting Sister Stone southwards towards the Korkari Wilds?"
That seems to be our plan, but right now I'm
The Sister Stone.
Fallen, you're the talkative one. You're more better at this than I am.
Sisters. Don't, guess so.
My sister-in-law went to see her a while ago. Unfortunately, her husband had died young and she really wanted a child. And Sister Stone sat with her and they prayed. And 9 months later, she gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. Why, it's a miracle. Do look after the old sister. She's very dear to all of us.
Oh, I see. Of course. We'll keep that in mind. Is that all?
And the servant backs away and said, "Yes, sir, that's all, sir."
I grab Haldir by the arm and continue on our way to the garden.
Alright, you drag yourselves away from the luxurious mansion.
I do have a question about this escorting the sister.
Mm-hmm.
How many of, since she is a member of the church, I'm sure there's going to be Templars added to her escort. Is it just going to be us and the sister?
Why don't you wait till the next morning when you get to go to the Chantry and find out? Also, you may recall that Ban Baranti had asked you to arrange a trade deal while down in Sothmere for some of the Riot wheat.
Yeah.
Which is... It's a little bit like rye, it's a little bit like oats, but it's somewhere in between.
That sounds ominous.
It does, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But it's very popular in Ferelden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
When,
Isn't there another group already going down there to do the negotiations also for another group?
You don't know.
Well, you're still in the dining hall, aren't you?
Yeah, I was trying to move away from that. So, you'll head back to your lodgings for the night and settle down. You've had a nice meal, you got some nice new clothes that feel mostly comfortable. Although some might not. And you've been well fed. And Ban Baranti has assured you that she'll arrange for food for your journey. You know, provisions, supplies, maybe even a wagon. Yeah, why not?
Right.
A horse and cart.
So, are we full up to full hit points for them at this moment?
I don't know. Someone's.
Oh no, that was what my dress looked like.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Happily enough, I bought mine early. I didn't have to rely on the dressing of a colorblind and taste blind dwarf.
Oh, I'm keeping the
Hey, he
outfit.
was acting on the client's instructions.
Yeah.
Ah.
I'll be keeping the outfit that I acquired.
Mm-hmm. That does not surprise me.
And I'll be leaving mine behind.
That also does not surprise me.
I will attempt to make sure to pack his outfit into my stuff without him knowing.
Great. Do you want to make me a dexterity check on that?
Because I don't think that he's out of the woods yet.
Uh-huh.
Right, actually, lodging, so that, if I remember correctly, lodgings means tavern underneath, correct?
Sorry, what?
Tavern, usually attached to lodgings. Lodgings above the tavern, right?
Generally, the tabard would be over the leggings, because it goes on the outside.
No, tavern.
Tavern, the drinking establishment,
Uh-huh.
is usually underneath where the lodgings are.
Yes,
Something
generally.
wrong, right? Is there something wrong with the Skype call? Alright, never mind.
I am worrying that
No.
myself, actually. Hmm.
No, I heard you. It just, I don't think that he heard you clearly.
It's okay,
What was
my,
that? I got something in my,
my
kind of like dial up in my background. So what was that?
no, my internet is kind of sketchy today for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, I hope it improves.
Yeah.
So is that enough to hide the clothes from him?
Yes.
Okay.
Screw this.
Hey,
Disturbingly.
when I'm not wearing my armor, I'm really good at stealth. It's a specialty, and I've got three dice in or 3 mod in Dex.
It's okay. So,
Right, so, so Evan, are we going to put this out in the tavern or the garden? Evan?
What? Sorry.
Hey, you're breaking up.
You said you had a scenario planned, right?
A scenario plan? Well, I thought we were doing that in the garden, but
What do you do in private? It's up to you.
gardens aren't necessarily very private.
No, they're not.
he kind of rushed us past it, so we can just.
I
type
may
out-
have had a very good reason for that.
Yeah, may have. I'll type something to you, and then we can decide how we wish to roleplay it.
Alright. Moving on then.
How nice to feel included.
Yeah.
Ah, dear. It's going to be one of those sessions, isn't it, where it just stumbles along at a
As long as
slow
you
and
have,
steady pace.
as long as you all have fun, what matters. That includes the GM, of course, but yeah.
I mean, it could be a conversation between my character and her character that takes place over the course of the trip as well. So
That might be a bit
Because-
easier, actually.
it may be. I still got to put things to words, and the role reversal is not making it easy.
I should probably add that Scott isn't able to make it tonight, so I'm just going to have to look after Wittred in his absence.
Okay. But I will say, it's going to be very hard for Farron to sleep.
And why is that?
Because of one name that was mentioned at the dining table.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be fuming about it for the whole night. And Steving. And fuming.
This makes total sense. So, unless anything untoward happens during the night, in the morning you all wake up, some earlier than others, and feel the need to organise yourselves. Now, it is due to a miscalculation in time. It is actually winter. So let's see, long rest will be 10 plus level plus constitution in health recovered and all mana restored for spellcasters.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Right, actually, Cyrus gave me his bow. I need to include that.
Yes, you do.
Select weapon? Nope. Is it? It's equipment, right? God damn it.
Oh yeah, that was rather well made bow, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
She has my old one.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, no, I have his old one. Whereas he has the new one.
I
Yeah,
fell in
so
love with the new one.
you'd go to weapons, click on the word weapon.
New.
Add new, and Glenn can tell you what. So it'd be. What kind of bow was it, Glenn?
Just a normal longbow. It was a. Let me pull it up, and I'll tell you the information on it.
Oh yeah, so the normal longbow would have. Where's it? Bows group. Yeah, be dexterity to attack, perception to damage. Group bows. Damage would be 1d6 plus 3. Short range would be 26 yards, long range 52 yards, minor action to reload.
Long range 90, sorry?
Long range would be 52,
2.
and minor action to reload.
Okay.
And before we head out, can I pick up some more arrows
No weapon
for both
bonus,
of
right?
us?
More arrows would be a very good idea, yes.
Yeah, that would be a very good idea. Oh, sorry, no weapon bonus, right?
No bonuses.
Okay, so ability, it's dexterity, cool, that's fine.
Do you have the bow group under your
Yep.
decks?
Yeah.
Yep.
then I think there is a bonus, isn't it, for the bows?
Yeah, but it should be calculated anyway. I'll just check. Weapon hasn't even been added yet that I can see. Assigning it the bow group should give it dexterity to hit and perception to damage already.
And since they only sell groups of 40 for some weird reason,
That is really weird, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, it's going to cost. As soon as I find arrows.
Don't worry, I'm
again.
trying to find... 2 silver pieces for 20.
Yeah, so it's going to be 4 silver pieces for 40.
Yep.
There it is.
That's okay.
Yeah, I had to get some more. I only had 13 arrows left.
Right.
Did I tell you how many arrows I used?
Lots. Okay, yep. That would be yes. And yep, that's all correct. You're going to want to maybe buy some arrows for to go for those crossbows you got.
Okay, cool.
So that's a little early morning shopping, after which, for some strange reason, you remember that you need to go to the Chantry and pick up Sister Stone, and then go down to the village of Sothmere and make a deal for the riot wheat so that a certain merchant by the name of Ronin, who's also trying to secure the exclusive contract to import it to Denerim, doesn't get the contract.
Why?
Because you put it there for the GM to use.
Why?
I don't know why you did it. However, Wittred doesn't seem too happy about hearing the name Jornan mentioned again either, so he kind of grumbles a bit quietly to himself.
Joy, that guy.
Oh, I have someone to kill now. Someone that I really want to
I hope you're not saying that in public.
kill. Nope.
So,
He's not saying anything. Just so you know, he's actually barely talking at this point. He's barely slept. So understandably grumpy, but also the fact that the mention of the name has just stacked it up, and now apart from sullen is an understatement. He's not very good hiding his emotions. Darn it. But there you go. If anybody would just ask. But we'll go along with it.
So, for your records for later, Raph, there's what we've discussed so far. That's not roleplay based, but it's just trying to understand the situation a little better between us, out of character wise. And then, so in character, Haldir has. She's kind of shy but interested around Falloran at the moment, but she's trying to overcome that by in the morning she sits next to him when they eat, but she doesn't really say much because she's unsure how to approach the situation between them.
Okay.
Falloran slowly spooning his chew. Sorry.
I'm kind of glaring at it.
glaring at anything that comes along.
If we're in like a carriage or something, I'll be sitting across from him, just kind of staring, but like not. He goes to look at me, I look away. That whole
Mhm.
I
tension.
kind of remember that and being very awkward and kind of tone it down a bit.
Well, you're not sitting in a carriage.
I know, but as an example, I don't know what we're going to be traveling in on the way there. So
Well, we have to pick up Sister Stone first, right?
yeah,
Well, at the moment it's Shanks' pony, but until something better comes
okay.
along.
Well, we're picking whatever we need up, and then we're leaving.
Well, we gotta go by the chantry.
So,
Please, they're not-
so in the morning, servants arrive from Ban Baranti with some, food and drink and other supplies for your journey, and a smallish wagon, and a horse to pull it.
Oh, that's nice.
And
Well,
they
I guess.
hold it.
Oh, sorry.
And before they leave, they also tell you the horse's name is Dobbin.
What kind of name is that?
It's a
Don't give him any
traditional
clothes.
name for a horse.
Don't give him any clothes. He'll be free.
Just like it's Reynard for foxes and Bruin for bears. Dobbin for horses.
It's absolutely
Or-
ridiculous.
Are we all riding on horseback or just
There's
them?
one horse.
Okay,
I'd
just
say-
making sure.
And,
I'd
and,
say
and his
wagon.
job is probably to pull the cart, which some of you could probably ride in. In fact, maybe all if you're lucky.
I grab you. Back to your place.
I do have some experience, as a lot of my people travel by,
Was it
large
halas and-
caravans.
yeah.
Halas and pulling. So if you'd like, I can drive. Once we pick up the sister, if someone else wishes to drive, I do not mind being a head scout with the bow.
Cyrus, I'm not opposed to you driving, but I don't think horses will be as obedient as Halas.
I
Probably not.
would just like to sit in the back of the wagon.
Mm-hmm.
But I will be in armor, have sword with me. The nice clothes will all be put up. And just in case my clothes get looked into, my clothes are sitting up above Falren's to keep them hidden.
Okay.
I guess we'll take wagon and said horse and party to the chantry. Does anybody remember how to get to it?
It's on the edge of the marketplace. It's not that hard to find.
Okay.
It's a large building, and there's normally a few chantry scholars outside discussing some matter or other, or a few lay preachers preaching to the faithful as they come by.
How come I cannot get away from this maker?
I don't know, but it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost like she's cursing me. I don't even believe in her.
Now, you arrive at the chantry, and a few Templars see you coming. They greet you. They recognise the House Baranti insignia on the wagon. And one of them goes inside, and eventually ushers out this frail old priestess. Look at her, she's so frail and old, and it was the most appropriate image I could find. She is not wearing the standard chantry robes of breast enhancement, because that was just silly. Anyone who played Origins knows exactly what I mean. It's like, why did they suddenly go up 4 cup sizes whenever they put those robes on? I do not know. Must have been some strategic padding to help keep them warm on those cold winter nights.
God damn it.
In fact, the chantry robes of breast enhancement became a running gag for about 3 or 4 years. But no, she's wearing standard chantry robes that don't seem to enhance her figure in any way at all. And she looks up at you with this face full of kindness, and says, "Oh, hello. Are you all going to be taking me south to Sothmere?"
Yes, miss.
Nod.
I hope so.
Why, thank you. You're all very kind.
I know.
Now, could someone help me up, please, into the cart? I'm not as sprightly as I used to be.
Help her up.
It's
I'll,
the right time of year to go on pilgrimage, you know.
Get some steps and help her up on the...
As you help her up, the Templar says, "Now look, just be careful with the old dear, all right? She might not be coming back. She's very close to the Maker now. Just
Oh, Jesus.
do your best to make sure that her pilgrimage goes well for her."
I was
Yes, miss.
so glad he specified that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
This is why I asked, is this a pre-written one or one you made up, Raph?
Oh no, this is written. This is like the last couple of pages in the back of a book with the free adventure seeds to sprinkle in among the bigger adventures.
Okay.
And of
So
course,
happy you specified.
being an adventure seed, it's of course being embellished upon massively because in its original version, it's kind of uninspiring when you realise that it's highly derivative of something. Until that point, it seems really impressive, and then you go, "Oh, wait a minute, it's just that," and the fun sort of drains out of it.
Okay, so we're screwed then. Okay. Huh.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm going to try and make it fun anyway, you know.
Well, it could be fun. It could be that horrible. It could be fun. But yeah.
No, I'm just happy they specify she's close to the Maker, because when they said she might not make it back, I'm going, oh my god, there's a group of assassins trying to kill her, and that's why they got a bunch of saps.
Well, she's kind of geriatric, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. I don't think Livia can help Sister Stone up on the carriage herself. By herself.
Give a hand.
Grudgingly help
Yeah.
out. Since somebody else is doing it,
So-
and a damn dwarf can do it.
So
Yeah.
the three of you help the old woman up into the coach, well, into the wagon, and she makes herself comfortable as best she can. And you set off, you know, lumping and bumping across the lumpy cobblestones of Denerim streets, heading towards the main gates of the city. Soon you will be heading out into the wide, wide world. And indeed, as you pass out through the city gates onto the West Road, which leads you past River Dracon, the wheels of the wagon turn, the road becomes somewhat smoother and easy to bear. And you almost feel as if all of those horrible troubles with the cultists are just passing away into distant memory as the
But
city
Farron's
fades
still
away
got-
behind you.
But Farron's still got butterflies in his stomach.
Oh, yes. As you pass away from the city, beside the river, you see you're entering into, you know, the outskirts of the city are fading away, and you're passing into farmlands.
Mm-hmm.
And the old sister says, "Oh, excuse me. I was hoping we could just stop here for a moment. Some of the farmers have requested my help. There's been some contamination with the water, which they use to draw water for their crops. And I've been asked to perform a special blessing to cleanse it. To pray to the Maker that their water will become clean once again."
I throw my eyes up and I roll my eyes and I'm like, now?
Well, it's on the way, and I did arrange it beforehand.
I looked at the others and said, "Fair to you, son."
Fine.
Certainly, madam, since this is your trip.
Oh, thank you ever so much. You're ever so kind.
And when the wagon stops, I get the steps up, put them down, help the lady off the wagon.
Oh, bugger. Ah, there we go. Right. Hmm. Okay. So she gets down from her wagon and she goes to see the farmers, and they show her where the water is all contaminated, and it does look pretty filthy, and they can't use that water to water their animals or water their crops.
I'm looking at the water and I ask, that's quite filthy. What caused this?
One of the farmers says, "Well, it's Markin.
Markin?
Bad old Markin. He's come back again. Said he was gonna put a curse on our water. He's, I don't know how to say it. He's like a nasty, wicked man who should have gone to join the circle many years ago, but he refused. He ran away and hid. Now he's come back, blamed us for him being all left out alone in the wilderness with nowhere nice and safe and warm to live. And he said he's going to poison our water to get us all back for not protecting him when the Templars came."
Did the Templars get him in the end?
"No, I don't think so. But he'd be round here somewhere. He might be hiding up in one of the old caves nearby. Over that way."
You would like to have him dealt with.
Well, we're hoping the Holy Sister here will perform a special blessing and cure the water of his foul taint so that he won't be able to ruin our farms no more.
Yeah, the thing is that if he's still around, he may come back after we leave and try to quench the water again.
Or if he can, if Sister Stone can take care of this problem and not bother them again, then we can just let her do her thing and leave promptly.
You see, Sister Stone goes and kneels down by the river, and she reaches out with a shaky hand for one of the farmers and murmurs something to him. And he has a word with the other farmers, and they all mumble and mutter, and they say, "Oh, it's going to be quite some time before the ritual is done." And she closes her eyes and begins to pray. What would any of you like to do in the meantime?
Make sure there's nothing else threatening this place. Make sure she has plenty of time and space to pray and that she's not attacked or anything like that.
Okay.
Protect her, in other words.
I will
Oh, Maker.
mutter a prayer as well, but I'll not be vocal with it, just quietly, and then I'll start keeping an eye out.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that means do not disturb.
Mm-hmm.
Richard grumbles and goes off for a bit of a walk downriver.
Not too far, I call out to him.
He says, "It's alright, I won't be gone long."
I'm going with the dwarf.
Alright. How about any for the rest of you?
I'm staying here for the moment, in case the old lady gets attacked.
I will, seeing the two of them walk off, I'll go ahead and hop out of the wagon and quietly draw my blade and just keep it behind me. That's
So,
all.
those of you walking downriver, you notice the foul, unnatural-looking gunk flowing down the waterway is congealing and coalescing behind some rocks in the river. You know, it's having problems getting past a certain point, and it's starting to build up.
Did Glenn get a chance to see what he was doing?
No, he didn't. Sorry.
I will be following the nice dwarf, just to make sure nothing untold happens to my group.
Okay, so you see a few large boulders in the riverbed, that reach almost up to the surface, and some of this foul, dark stuff is getting stuck on them and not flowing past them very much. And beyond them, the river seems a bit cleaner.
Well, it looks like an ogre just took a dump right here.
Oh, jeez.
Witchred grunts at that.
I guess we should take a look and see what's in there to see if that's what's tainting the area.
Well, whatever it is, it's coming from somewhere upstream, because this is downstream of the farmlands. But
I
there's...
guess we gotta go
Hmm.
further upstream.
Well, I suppose those will be your famous last words. I don't know how to do this.
It's always famous last words.
Fine. I'll regret this after I die.
Start heading upstream. Should we grab the others?
I don't know, should we?
Probably.
Witchred
Oh,
says,
then
you
who
know
can
I'm standing right here.
I'm talking about the rest of the party. Should we grab the rest of them?
Alright then, Richard, why don't you go grab the others then? Since you're standing right here.
He shrugs and heads off to try and get the attention of the others.
Oh, this is irritating.
Meanwhile, the rest of you amble off back towards the farmlands and head upriver again towards the city, where you do see in the high riverbank a low cavern down near the waterline on the far side.
Hush.
And most of the foul, or whatever is in the water, seems to be flowing out of that cavern and into the river.
It seems we found our source. Right?
Yeah, I see that.
Please don't
But
tell
if
me
he's somebody that should have been taken away by a certain group of individuals, we might want...
we are no Templars, for sure. I don't want to go against a mage. As much as I hate to say it, without another mage.
Yep.
Do you want to make a bet on who can shoot him dead from here? Maybe remember.
Sure, how much?
Raph is which getting the others.
I'm listening. Don't worry. Yeah, he'll be turning up with the others soon. Just not necessarily quite yet. You think you see a face at the entrance of the cave for a moment, and then it disappears again. It's kind of hard to tell because of the dark.
Draw my bow and say, "Alright, 2 silver to pay for those arrows."
Alright.
I'm presently doing what was asked. Keep an eye on the old woman.
Mm-hmm. So, Witchred has returned to the farmlands, and he's kind of muttered something about dirty stuff in the water and going upstream to investigate, and some of the elves already went. And he asks Livia and Haldir if they want to come along.
Well, I'd probably jump in actually to look after the lady here.
If you need to go, Olivia, I'll stay and look after her.
No,
I am just a swordswoman.
hmm. We were, yeah, and I had no idea why the others walked off like that. Can you give a good reason why the others went off?
Well, no, Wintry.
Says, I don't know, something about investigating or something like that. I just was going for and stretch my legs.
Not for too long then. I'll wander out with you, go back with you, but I don't want to spend too long out there because we are here to look after the lady. Um, I I sort of like leave the old lady and the swordsmans and the others for company or
Alright,
whatever.
so you head on upstream for a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and you do come across the other two, standing, gazing across at this small cavern in the high riverbank on the far
Alright,
side.
so I'm going to rise a bit, just on one knee, take aim, and if I see that face again, I'm shooting.
Alright, why don't you make me a perception check?
Please give work this time.
I'm curious to know what y'all's thoughts are when you don't see Haldir coming.
After a while, you do see that face reappear again. It's low and close to the water.
What the hell? Okay, okay, shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Why is my target sister still? Jesus.
I don't know. One moment. Let me provide you with a generic target. One moment.
I'm not shooting stone from here. Just, that's ridiculous.
Here you go. Have a
Alright.
generic target.
Awesome. Damn.
Remember I said generic target. The arrow flies into the dark, and the face drops down below the water, and then it bobs up again, with the arrow sticking up near it.
What is Andraste's name?
You're not entirely sure what's happened. Perhaps whoever it is trying to swim out of the cavern? But they didn't seem to react very much when you shot them.
Cyrus?
Yeah, that don't look good.
At least we have reinforcements.
Yeah.
I see the other two coming. I gestured.
I
I
will
gestured to them both to be silent. Don't make too much noise. You know, finger to lip, finger to lips.
I'm going to see if I can get a better look.
That always means going closer. I don't
Okay,
want to
so
go closer.
you
I'm going to try to
scramble
stealth up there.
down the riverbank on this side a little, keeping low and close to the water, and lie down low to get a good close look across the water. It's not easy, but why don't you make a perception check and let me know what you get?
Not so great.
Yeah, occasionally you see the head bob up above the water, and the arrow sticking out of probably something near the head. And then occasionally it will
head-
dip again. What's the question?
Does it look like it's alive still?
It's actually rather hard to say at this distance and in the dark, gloomy light at the entrance of the cave there.
I really don't like this. Should
But
we-
whatever that foul stuff in the water is, the head seems to be near where it begins. Or even at the very origin.
Huh.
Cyrus, you're not thinking about. You are, aren't you?
Alright. Frick. I wonder if this guy is dead.
But he doesn't seem to have acknowledged us, even with that one shot.
Not yet, no.
I'm gonna move closer.
Okay, so you get into the water and begin to wade across, carefully looking for large rocks to use to hold on to, so that you don't sink all the way to the bottom. And it starts to get deeper, as rivers do. And you use rocks to stable yourself, and as you get closer you can see the body bobbing in the water with the arrow sticking in it. That is a very rotten body,
Cyrus?
and there's stuff leaking out of it into the water.
Oh.
Judging by the state of his garments and the filth and mould encrusting the body, this may indeed be the dreaded Marken the farmers were fearing. But you'd guess he's been dead for at least half a week, maybe longer.
So someone murdered him.
Not necessarily. It's hard to tell from this distance. You'd need to get closer to have a proper look.
I call out slightly louder to Cyrus because he's a little further away now. Cyrus, what do you see?
He's dead.
What? A little bit too loudly.
It could have been the arrow, except he doesn't seem fresh enough for that.
He's been dead for quite a while, as a matter of fact.
Looking a bit closer, he seems to be stuck on something, bobbing up and down there in the water, like some rocks and tree roots are kind of keeping him in place, so he hasn't washed downstream or anything.
Balin jumps in with Cyrus and proceeds to follow him.
Okay, you
Unbelievable,
also
unbelievable.
wade across through the filthy waters and find this corrupted body, this carcass bobbing, trapped in the water.
I have the feeling this was intentional.
Truly. How?
Look at the way his body is jammed into these rocks.
Could have just fallen and broken his neck, or I don't know.
Yeah.
His neck doesn't appear to be broken.
Get his body out of the water.
Okay, you heave him out of the water, foul substances sloshing out of the body as you do so, and lay him down on the ground, where you do notice an infected wound in his side.
Well, it looks like he's been stabbed.
Yeah, stabbed or maybe gored by a wild animal with horns or tusks.
What does it actually look like? Because those are very distinct. Those are some very different and distinct wounds.
I'd say it looks like something with tusks. Gored him.
Sorry to know.
Could have been a boar. That gored him. Wild boar.
I kind of gestured towards the body. I told you, I don't think it was intentional, or at least not intentional by any shem or otherwise.
Well, let's pull him up away from the riverbank. That should help with some of the taint that's coming down the river.
I wander up there to see what's happening.
I will say that's a
You're
lot.
kind of on the other side of the river there, Paul.
Well, okay. I try to.
I don't mind, I'm just making sure you understand this.
And
Uh,
also that you understand that the river is still somewhat polluted. If you don't mind wading through it.
Well, you guys obviously managed to get across it, so.
Alright, hold your nose.
Okay, you step into the water, and it gets so deep in the middle that you have to swim across, and it smells foul, and you think it must be some kind of miracle that you're not being corrupted by something revolting. But you do finally make it across to the other bank, where the others are discussing this foul, bloated, rotting corpse.
Can I look at the body to see what I think of it at all?
You think he's a middle-aged man who perished from some kind of animal injury recently.
Yeah.
You don't reckon much of his clothes.
No, but this contamination, though, where's that coming from?
It's coming from his rotting dead body.
I know that, but what caused the contamination?
Probably the fact that a badly damaged body was left unattended for days on end.
So it's natural rotting then? is what
You
you're saying?
think so? It's kind of hard to tell. If it is natural rotting, then it seems to have progressed rather more quickly than you would usually have expected.
Like I said before, that's a lot of disgusting things coming out of one dead body.
It might be wise to bury this body deep in the ground so it can't cause too much more damage.
I'd burn it first, then bury it.
Or burn it, then bury it. Yeah, absolutely.
Burn it, yes, that's what they do in Ferelden. Mostly because they fear, spirits will fade and start.
Good point, yeah.
Is what they want for you.
So
Burn
you
the sucker.
you construct a makeshift pyre, and place the body on it, and set flames to it, and a foul, sickening smoke winds off into the sky and disperses, along with what little vestige of humanity remains.
Okay, does this sort of like stop the contamination continuing into the water?
Well, looking back at the water, you see there's a lot less contaminated matter moving through it now.
I kind of elbow at Cyrus and ask, why so? Why do we have to make this much effort for a dead mage?
Well, better be safe than sorry.
But a whole pyre.
Well, guess what? It's better to burn it than having to worry about, it doesn't work, and then people lose faith in the poor sister, and she didn't do what she was supposed to do, and
All right.
this is her last trip. Let her have her miracle.
Fine. All right. Let's just get back, tell them what happened, and be on our way.
Alright, so
Why tell them what happened? Just let them believe it's a miracle done by the sister. Humans aren't that bright.
Fine.
So you work your way back across the river and head back towards the farmlands, where Sister Stone is finishing her ritual, and by the time you arrive there, the water is looking very clean and healthy to drink, and the farmers are really happy. It's a miracle. Oh, Maker be praised. That evil Markham can't contaminate our water any longer. They're very happy.
Yep. You're right. He will never contaminate your water again.
And Sister Stone almost seems a little surprised by the fact that... Well, no, she doesn't seem that surprised by the fact her prayers have worked, but almost as if she wasn't expecting it to be quite so effective. But she humbly bows her head and gets back on the wagon, and you prepare to move again.
Is there a smell coming off of our two or three associates? They're clearly soaked or damp.
Yeah.
I would have gone back into clean water. The water's cleaned up a bit. So
Now that the
I would
water
have
has cleaned, I presume you might want to wash yourselves
Yes,
off
I
before
would
moving.
get washed up
Yeah,
and then re-oil my leathers because wet leathers suck.
Same.
I'm going to pull an item out of my my case that was on Balrin's outfit. It's a handkerchief from his dress clothes, and I'm just kind of holding it to not only to smell something better than all that, but also just to cover my nose up with something.
Baron doesn't notice. He's too busy cleaning
It's
his
fine.
armor.
That's all right.
And they all
Now-
get back on the carriage, and off we go.
For the next few days, the
Cyrus is
wagon-
snickering the whole time about the brilliance of humans.
for the next few days, the wagon moves along the west road towards Lovering, where King Maric's mother was originally murdered during the beginning of the Elysian occupation of Ferelden. In fact, a number of nobles conspired to do her in, and Lovering has had a bit of a bad reputation ever since. It's been fairly unpopular.
And their reputation never improves.
No, because it was MMO, starter, quest, central hub, central bullshit from hell of boredom. But as the road wends towards Lovering, Sister Stone stops to tend to various injured and ailing people whose health is not too good. And every time she stays with them and is careful and tends to them, using what medicinal skills she has, and just make sure they're feeling better before she moves on. Now-
We're going to be as old as she is by the time we get done with this trip.
Oh, maker.
Now, by the time you eventually get to Lovering, which is a terribly boring place, a river does go through it, and there's a little bridge in the middle, and every time you go across the bridge, you kind of feel the urge to say something, but you can't remember what. The people of Lovering look like they've had somewhat hard times, and they seem fairly unhappy and grumpy. I'm kind of rushing this a bit because I don't like the way it's written too much, because as I said, it feels highly derivative.
Alright, go ahead.
So, the people are all very unhappy and grumpy, and you hear talk of rats, and you even see numerous rats skulking on the streets almost in broad daylight, without much fear of reprieve, and there just seem to be a lot of rats infesting Lovering.
Oh, great. Rats while there are rats going around.
Where is Lothran at in this? On this map?
Right
Oh,
there?
we're way down there already. Okay.
However,
So we already missed the Dalish camp. Damn.
However, you're on the outskirts of Lovering and starting to see signs of rat activity when Sister Stone holds up her hand and asks you all to stop for a moment. To stop the cart.
Okay.
And she says she thinks she says, I think I can hear quite a lot of people out in that field over there. And she turns to look, and as she looks, a gust of wind brushes past and practically flattens all of the tall grass in that field. And there are actually a large group of armed men lying low in the field, watching you all in the wagon as you pass.
They probably look dumbfounded as much as we do.
They look completely gobsmacked. They stand and cast down their weapons, and then they kneel. And one of them says, "Make her be praised."
Well, I wasn't expecting that.
It's true, says another. She really is a miracle worker.
Yeah, it's a miracle I didn't get to shoot you with my bow. God damn it.
While we're
After a while, they begin to approach closer to the wagon. Some of them reaching up to be touched by her, and they
I have
inform
my
you.
bow at the ready.
They inform you that there are men in the employ of Al Broxton, and Al Broxton has heard of Sister Stone and the miracles she's worked along the journey, and he believes that she's an apostate, because how else could she produce such powerful miracles? But and they were going to, arrest her and drag her back to him to be held on charges, but now they just can't find it in their hearts to do so, and they just want to follow and worship in the beauteous radiance of her miracles.
Yeah, this is
What?
very uncomfortable.
And how many more groups do we have to worry about on the way?
we don't know.
No, I'm asking them.
Oh, okay.
They don't know either. They were just hired to come do this one job.
While the commotion is going on, I'm going to approach Falloran.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of nudge him in the arm with my elbow. Hey,
What?
do you think tomorrow and each day on the journey that you could maybe help me learn the blade a little better?
You're asking me now?
We got, time on the journey,
When you could have asked me before? I don't know. I just need to... Alright, that's it. Everybody off.
Richard says it's called sparring.
What?
He's not actually done any teaching of me,
Mr. Stone, I'd very much appreciate it if we could move along.
Very well.
Yes, gentlemen, it was a pleasure meeting you all. If you're going to follow us, aren't you?
It seems they very much are, yes.
That's what I figured. So I will go at a nice clip. So, I will not haul ass basically to where it's hard for them to keep up. I will just move at a nice speed so our armed escort can keep up. All of a sudden.
At Falloran's lack of interest, I begrudgingly get back into the crowd.
They follow.
Please keep an eye on all these people. If they do anything that looks suspicious, like, I don't know, lying that they're worshiping her,
They follow you all the way to Lovering, near the Imperial Hui, because apparently they can't fit the whole word highway on there. And in Lovering, you do indeed learn of a number of rats are infesting the streets. And Sister Stone asks if she can go visit the chantry in Lovering, which is quite a large chantry and dominates the town's skyline.
Of course, this is already set up for your trip too, right? Your pilgrimage.
Of course, it's part of my pilgrimage towards Sothmere.
Yes. So, yes. Perfectly understandable.
So
We'll go to the chantry.
she goes to the chantry where the Reverend Mother takes her in, and says they have to have a very serious meeting and pray about the rat problem, and it's going to take quite some hours. And you notice a few young acolytes and novitiates going about their business, but overall the chantry is fairly orderly, and Sister Stone and Revered Mother spend quite some time cloistered in Revered Mother's chambers. In
Is
fact,
the
so much so.
Open in this town.
Yeah, it's not a very... Given that Lovering is considered fairly low status, most of the people of the townsfolk don't worry too much if the elves spend time outside the alienage in this town.
Oh,
It's
isn't that nice?
rather more relaxed.
Boy, this town has changed. Okay, I'm just kind of sitting here going.
Changed? Changed how? I've never been here.
Well, these towns. It seems that the further you get away from the larger towns, the more lax they are with the alienages.
Oh.
So they say. Right, I guess we do have time now, Haldir. You want to
Oh.
go there now?
Sure, thanks. She seems all happy again.
We're gonna end up. I'm just keeping an eye out for any rats.
Yeah.
Oh, you do see the occasional rats, more than a few. They seem to be up to no good. You seem to remember an old Dalish tale about someone playing music to lure all the rats away, but you can't remember all the details now.
That's. Raph, does helping train someone afford them a bit of an increase in, I don't know. Probably not.
Maybe.
At least puts us in a role-play effort of trying to work up that skill.
Haldir, hold up your sword. No, not like that. Like that.
But yours is so much shorter than mine. Does that matter?
What are you implying?
You have a little blade and I have a big blade.
Excuse me, I'm gonna go find something to do.
And because of my lack of communication skills, Haldir doesn't understand the innuendo that she's creating.
Oh, this hurts.
Facepalm moment for Fallen again.
Did I say something, Fallen?
No.
I go out
harder.
looking for a rat to kill.
Because
Rats are plentiful.
I know, and it's like this is it's a bit strange. So as the dwarf goes, I go out and say, I think we need some rats to kill.
Whenever the rats come by while I'm training, I'm like moving away from the rats because it's like creepy.
Oh wow. Okay.
What's that for, Glenn?
Flute playing. I'm just sitting there playing my flute.
Ah, okay. You do notice a few rats occasionally sort of approach a little, stand up on two legs and sniff at you and then move away again.
after a while, Fallen gets really fed up
Mm-hmm.
and stabs a passing rat.
Alright, stabs the passing rat, it squeaks and skitters away from the blade and rushes off, but clearly the training is not going too well. You eventually all settle down for the evening, and in the morning, the revered mother and Sister Stone make an appearance on the chantry steps and call for all the people to gather round and inform them that the Maker wishes for them to open up their rat traps. And so, townspeople go home and they open their rat traps, and doves fly out of the rat traps instead of rats scurrying out.
Bit weird.
It is very strange indeed, and all in town believe it to have been a miracle. Maker be praised. And in
Lydia,
fact-
you should learn how to do that.
In fact, there don't seem to be that many rats around town anymore. And the cats go back into action, culling the rat population because it was getting ridiculously out of hand.
Wonder what
Is it
sort
a
of
whole
rat-
bunch of what, doves flying out?
Yeah.
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 Huh. Anybody want squab?
No idea, but
It might taste like rat.
What's
No
squab?
Yeah,
Pretty much dove.
Pheasant, dove, yeah, small birds like
dove
that.
meat, pigeon meat, I don't know.
all right. I just wonder what magic that is, to be honest.
Hmm. Well, once this miracle has occurred, Sister Stone gets back on the wagon, and you all head off down the Imperial Highway towards somewhere near Ostagar.
Mm-hmm.
However, Sister Stone tells you that she's heard some rather vicious rumours about Albroxton. Apparently he's rounded up 100 people from his Arling, and he's threatened to execute one a day unless she hands herself into him for judgment. And she really doesn't know what to do.
Who
Well,
has
I can give you a few suggestions, but none of them is probably going to fall underneath what you like for the maker.
Or even be possible. But
who has to hand herself in, or people executed?
Her,
Sister Stone.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
They believe she's an apostate.
he believes she is an apostate.
He believes she's an apostate, yes.
Every time I hear the
Go and
word,
kill him now.
every time I hear the word, I step behind Follower and hook my arm in his.
Okay, well, dear sister, what do you wish to do? Do you wish to continue on with your pilgrimage, or do you wish to find some place and pray for his awakening to realize that he's making a mistake, or do you just want someone to put an arrow between his eyes?
Well, I sense that I'm reaching the end of my journey, and I don't want these poor people to suffer on my behalf.
Ah,
I'm not sure, though, what I should do.
Maybe.
Couldn't
well,
a barrister speak on your behalf? Investigate the matter?
You mean a black hauler?
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure if we could arrange for one in time, but that is a good suggestion.
Well, you'd only lose a few people in the meantime.
yeah, that might not be good. Doesn't the big church we just left in Lothern have a black collar?
Oh no, black haulers aren't part of religious institution. They are part of the legal system.
Oh,
She's not legally being. If she's not an apostate, then she's being illegally prosecuted.
Alright, that's it. We are talking to the Earl.
so dear sister, do you wish to go to the town?
No, I think we should go to Albroxton's estate and see if we can sort this all out. It's all very unfortunate and very unbecoming and uncomfortable.
So going straight to his estate. Got it.
Well, then let's be on our way.
All right.
Are the prisoners being held at his estate?
Oh yes, I do believe that's what I heard.
Falrin,
Yes.
who else can drive a wagon here?
I can try.
Oh, never mind.
I'm pretty dexterous.
It might be an idea for one of us
Hang on,
to try to see if we can sneak around the estate, see if we can find the prisoners and remove them as a bargaining chip, so to speak.
And you're asking.
Or we can just sneak up behind them and slit his throat. I mean, whichever's easier.
Well, we can do that and then send the rest of the Elven population to hell with us.
What skill
Murdering
do
an
I
Earl
need?
isn't Exactly.
Why, it was a miracle by the Maker that we are traveling with her to protect her and free these poor people that were being held hostage.
As you discuss this plan, the wagon is heading towards the Jarl's estate.
I'm gonna go hop on the wagon.
All right,
Oh, we're still driving the wagon.
Oh,
I know.
What
I'm just
skill is needed to drive the wagon, if any?
I don't know.
Or
It'd probably be I'd say cunning or communication actually, because of the animals. I don't know.
Okay.
I can try.
You go ahead. I'll
Being held, right?
I'll control them. You go ahead.
I've cast rock armor on myself, by the way, Ref.
All right. Good to know.
Last 8 hours.
Well-
that's...
Good God.
After a while, the wagon arrives at the gates of the Jarl's estate, where a few soldiers apologize profusely before placing the aged sister in irons, which slip off her bony wrists and fall in a clatter on the floor.
Can you not
Driving's actually
do
a
that?
focus of strength, by the way.
Okay. So they chain her again, and the chains fall off again, and they mutter and curse to each other and mumble.
Can we just go? It's not like we are going to. It's not like she's going to start a fight.
Yeah.
Did you not learn the lesson the first time I asked them? I seen the Maker is with us.
And also the men who are with you, who've been following, who are starting to get a little bit hungry now because they haven't had much decent to eat since lowering. They are also bound, and their bindings all begin to fall off as well, and it's all quite a bit of a palaver until eventually the guards give up trying to restrain them and just usher you all into the great hall of Arl.
Gentlemen, ladies of my nice traveling group,
Broxton.
did you notice they didn't pay a goddamn lick of attention to any of us?
Mm-hmm.
That was a bit surprising.
And
I didn't want to.
they're letting two elves walk in with bows?
To be honest, I was thankful they weren't paying us too much attention. To be honest.
Now, yeah, they're probably not going to let you take weapons in there, to be honest, Glenn.
Well, you didn't say anything. I figured they were just completely just didn't see us, so I'm just going along with that, going, okay, let's see how far with this can go.
Jack?
I've got my walking stick, my staff I'm using. Just like
Now,
as in-
Arl Broxton leans forwards in his seat, and you can see that he is even older than Sister Stone.
Oh gosh.
And he leans forwards with his walking stick in his hand, and he shouts at her and he berates her and calls her all kinds of nasty names and claims she must be an apostate and demands to know why she isn't shackled, and the guards apologise and say they did shackle her, my lord, but they kept falling off. And then he demands to know why all the prisoners he has standing here as are also, why all their shackles are falling off, and it just gets ridiculous. And eventually he gets out of his chair and hobbles over and bashes her on the head with his walking stick.
Whoa.
No, I will step in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Wait, just before you say bash her on the head with the walking stick, I think one of us should at least be able to catch that before it happens.
Okay, well he's walking over to bash her on the head with his walking stick. Who would like to intercede?
I will step in between.
I'm stepping up in front of her. I said it. I said it.
So will I.
Okay, so a number of you step in his way.
I just want to gingerly pull her back one square, or one step.
Alright, so you pull her back slightly, and he claims, Why, you wicked witch, I'll show you! And she closes her eyes and murmurs, Dear Maker, into your hands I commend my spirit. And the life goes out of her and she collapses on the floor without being touched.
Oh, great.
Hold my hands up. I didn't do it.
All right.
I
Wow.
look at him.
Okay. Look what you did.
I look at Yala and say, "What manner of foul magic is this?"
Al Broxton is completely taken aback.
You just killed an old lady.
And never laid his hand on her either. And you talked about her being an apostate. That sounds a lot like blood magic.
I never even touched her, but
She was always professing that she served the Maker.
But you did shout a whole bunch of curses.
There are strong murmurs coming from the crowd of armed men who've been following you.
Yeah, you cursed her, and then all of a sudden she dies.
They begin to gather around him, and despite his protestations, they drag him away. Down to the cells, where the shackles do not fall off him, and he sits awaiting punishment. Meanwhile, you are apologized to by the various soldiers here. They suggest you might want to carry on with your journey, or maybe even wait until justice is done to this foul miscreant. And then they'll be needing a new Arl, so that's going to take some time to arrange.
No, we are going
I
to
only
finish
came along for one
taking
person.
the mother on her pilgrimage.
Yeah.
We promised we would take her to the location she was heading to. We will take her there to the chantry there, so she can be laid to rest at the end of her pilgrimage.
Of
Yes.
course. Well, the people are very grateful, and they do tell you that they're never going to forget the many miracles they've seen and witnessed Sister Stone produce. And, memories of this will be with them to their dying day. And so you take the body of Sister Stone and carry it on along the road southwards towards the Korkari Wilds, where eventually you find the small shrine near the village of Sothmere that she was supposed to visit, and leave her body there with some of the local priests. Then
Okay, I'll get to.
you get to arrive at Sothmere.
I was going to wait with the body to make sure there's a proper send-off, for their.
Oh,
ceremony.
absolutely. That is totally fine. Now,
Not me, because she gets back up after 6 days. I'm out.
I look to my traveling companions, and this is as we're walking away from handing the body over. Why couldn't we have stopped for an hour in that really nice castle and just gotten lunch?
Because I've got someone to take care of.
Because
Who?
we
Someone
promised.
who was mentioned at the dining table.
Oh, okay. I wonder who that is.
how are we doing for time? Did we start about 11, half 11-ish? I'm not sure.
Yes, we did.
Now we have to go.
So- As you approach the small town of Sothmere, you understand that spring is coming soon and the winter is drawing near to an end. And you see a rather hastily constructed wooden hill fort overlooking the town. It's not on the best hill, as in it's in a inferior location, and it's a bit of a distance away from the town. Now, this looks like a small farming community. And it's starting to rain. It's that drizzly late winter, early spring weather where it's all rain and mud and it's still feeling cold.
Yeah, I might want to become sleep, but not quite there yet.
It's not that cold.
Oh, thank
Let's-
God.
Let's definitely get indoors.
However, as you approach the town, you see a number of brightly coloured tents out in the you know, it's more of a village, as I said, in the kind of village square. Tents on the
Okay.
grass, stalls set up, colourful bunting stained by the ominous weather. Occasionally,
festival?
thunder rumbles overhead, but the people are wearing brightly coloured clothes and trundling about in the mud. And they seem to be in a fairly jolly mood, in spite
It's a
of the weather.
festival.
Is it a solstice or something?
Well, that's a good question, isn't it?
Look at Fallen and, hey, we get to go to the festival. We haven't done that since we were little.
Mhm.
Huh?
Uh,
Right.
well, what was it about? Okay.
Now, I need to decide if I... Oh my god, why did the teleporter pad turn into a 1x1 from a 3x3? That is so weird. I need to basically decide if I want to press on here or if I want to do more preparation for this next part. Because we've kind of had it a bit short. And I'm like, it would be nice to pick up again after the last section, but I don't know if I want to save that for a separate session or not.
Well, I am looking around the city, just seeing who looks like to be the head man in charge, basically.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to do some tidying up here before next time, I think.
Because we're here to investigate and pick up a trade agreement, so...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of tidying up. So there's some kind of festival going on, and everyone seems to be in a jolly mood, but I think that might have to wait till next time. Mainly
Okay.
because I have to hide a load of tokens and tidy stuff up.
Mm-hmm. That's no problem. So, like I say, I got the benefits assessor coming in about just under 10 hours. I'm gonna get some sleep before then, so yay.
That's fine with me. I can go.
Isn't this a
Alright.
grand opportunity?
Spend some time with my little boy.
For what, Evan? Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying it in character.
Okay. Well, what
Looking
I'll
at
do for
Fallen.
next time then is I'll try and get all the fun festival stuff organised. But in the meantime, I hope you've all enjoyed this session, brief though it was, and a bit later than usual though it was.
Yay.
And
Sounds.
We could wear our nice clothes again.
yeah,
No, I will not be wearing any sort of strange clothes that you can think of.
But I brought them with us.
What?
and with that, I
You
think
did
we'll
not.
just end that there.